Us on Twitch. It's our Thursday analysis stream. International Master William Pascal with the Ponda on to say hello. He's gonna come over. Hey everybody, don't forget, stay safe. Have a great stream. Play H4. Alright Ponda, thank you for that little introduction. Your camera's frozen. But no one would ever know the difference. His camera is frozen. No problem. He looks the same anyway. Spectacular. Did I say his camel was frozen? I feel like I said his camel was frozen. His camel was frozen. What's up? Mr. Slowhand, welcome. Mr. Coffee, Asterbait. Guys, thanks so much. Speaking of Mr. Slowhand, he is our lead donator for the week with 1,000 bits donated. Jim with 500, Baronzin with 401. Baronzin helping us out with subscriber badges. I haven't had time to activate them, but we'll have more subscriber badges hopefully, depending on how long you've subscribed. Anyway, guys, it's Thursday, and we do analysis on Thursdays, so the subscribers to the stream have been and are welcome to submit games for analysis. This week, Mr. Slow is number 1 for many reasons. WJ Loof is number 2. Asterbait is number 3. Jim is number 4. Yabatis is number 5. And I feel like I probably missed somebody. Because I haven't been paying attention. Pawn Pusher 7-6. My messages. Pawn Pusher got that in there. Now I want to make sure he was the last one. That's past Pawn 99, isn't it? I feel like I missed somebody else. So Pawn Pusher is actually before Yabatis in the queue. Alright, I want to make sure we get this right. Is there anyone else that I forgot about that already submitted a game? Not that I know of. I don't think so. Got this guy keeps sending me messages. Hi, hi. I don't want to be mean and like block him. But that is kind of irritating. Strange people sending you hi every 5 minutes. Alright. Mr. Slow, WJ Loof, Asterbait, Jim, Pawn Pusher, and Yabata. So we still have Warnaki. Did you submit a game? Mr. Slowhand donated 500 bits. Cheers! Cheers for the cheers. No game for this week. No. Lockdown chess. How's my stream? Lichess was real shaky tonight. We had the highest ping I've ever seen for the server. It was like 2,000 or something. It's almost never ever bad, but it almost fell apart. Okay, we're gonna get started then with Mr. Slowhand. He did donate 500 bits, making him first. No, he actually was the first one. If you pay extra though, you can actually do what Nils, one of our former subscribers, used to do. He would buy a higher place in the line. I'm a businessman, not a really businessman who puts emphasis on making money, but I believe in capitalism, so if you want to buy a higher place in the line, we can work with that. But at the moment, it's Mr. Slow first, so let's do this. Enough introduction. You can see all my hate mail. Alright, no, seriously. There's Mr. Slow. I found a short win. Alright, it's behind the last message. I found a short win for the Thursday analysis stream. Short wins. Not perfect. We should have like a miniature subscriber analysis stream where you have to submit games that are like under 20 moves. 20 moves or under. Maybe we'll do that one day. Found a short win for the Thursday analysis. We'll have miniature Monday or something. Found a short win for Thursday analysis stream. Not perfect, but with quite pleasing memories. I hope this wasn't a win against Asterbait, was it? It's probably an over-the-board game. Yeah. Game of 2017 over the board, Chapter 1. NN. There's like the classic chess books. It's like Alekhine versus NN. NN is a famous player. Asterbate? Let's ask Asterbate. Don't give him any hints. Asterbate, do you know who NN is? Maybe he knows. No, we're asking you. Who is NN? Any guesses? Open Club Championship 2017. This is a game that Mr. Slowhand played over the board with white, I guess in a German competition. D4, knight f6, bishop g5. Really? I don't remember you ever playing that. That must have been your old repertoire or something. Have you ever played the Trompowsky against me? So knight e4. Guys, this was like all the rage back in the 90s. For some reason, I think Joe Gallagher wrote a book on like the King's Indian, and I remember in that he was recommending lines with black, you know, against like anti-King's Indians and stuff, and promoted knight e4. But actually this is probably not black's best move. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like it's better to play either d5 or c5. These moves are constructive, you know, durable, they're real currency that has something behind it. You know, they're not like Bitcoin. Knight e4 is basically the Bitcoin of chess moves. There's nothing really backing this up, you know. It looks cool, it's nifty, it's new, but there's nothing fundamentally behind it, you know. So it's a little bit iffy if it's really truly black's best move. I believe in d5, but c5 is also, for the Benoniist out there, I think good. Karpov was a big believer in e6. That's about it. g6, actually. It's ironic. I think it was around 1988, 1989, now that I think about it. I remember I lost to this guy who became an IM. I think his name is Duong. He's from Canada. He beat me with a Trompowsky. My first ever reaction to Trompowsky was to play g6. The problem was I just played it badly. You know, actually this line is okay for black too, but you got to know what you're doing if you play this. Okay, so knight e4, bishop f4. A little summary of the various options against the Trompowsky. d5. Hold on a second here. Yeah, bishop f4. Okay, so the dynamic move is c5. That was like what Gallagher suggested. d5 is also known. Now, a lot of people like swear by this. If you're like someone on sound and you like to sacrifice pawns, one of our subscribers, you like to sacrifice pawns, you know, this is a kind of improved Smith-Diemer, Blackmar-Diemer. Black doesn't have to accept it, I guess. Playing a type of French after e6 is possible. But the fun line is like takes, knight c3. I'm not an expert on the better move order here. But I'm just wondering, Mr. Slow, did you ever try this? Playing f3, sacking the pawn? Seems like a very reasonable way to do it. Maybe this is more accurate to take here. I don't know. Because look at that line. Kind of a funny line. Knight c3, knight d5. Taking the fun out of life. by trading pieces. Maybe it's more accurate to play pawn takes pawn for white. Half expecting like e5 to be a move. But apparently this is not enough. Because knight c6 could be met by bishop e5. Among other things. Black has knight on bd7. It's an interesting gambit, it looks like. Probably not enough compensation though. So knight e4. Anyway, Blackburn-Deemer type of stuff. I remember Hodgson, yeah. I remember Joel Benjamin writing an article for like Chess Life 15 years ago or more. Or annotating a game for Chess Life where I think he played against this. Alright, but anyway, so this is more like the main line. Now black plays c5. Let me turn off the engine here. I don't know, but this seems to me, I believe this is the main variation, which I've only like in my life probably like tried to play once with black unsuccessfully in a blitz game. I just remember not liking it. There's something with bishop takes e4, isn't there? Knight c6 here. Bishop d3 is the main move. What is black's best move here? Knight f16 is kind of passive. It's okay. It does appear to be the main line. That's it. Our macho knight just goes back to f6 with a whimper. Just flat out losing that tempo back. Is this going to transpose to a London system? Because I play knight e4, you moved your bishop again. Now you play bishop d3, I'm moving my knight again. Isn't that going to just transpose to a straight up London system? Right? We both lost the tempo. I feel like this is a move. Alright, Warnocky. Guys, please support the stream. We need as many subscribers as possible. Mr. Slowhand leading the way. 1,500 bits this week. And I'm going to be back tomorrow with Blitz and Fast Friday stream. No, I'm trying to remember this line. So, pawn takes... This is a move? That seems lame, though. I don't like bishop takes e4. Knight c6. Now bishop takes e4. Maybe this is it. You got to admit that like white's position seems hollow somehow without that. I never looked at this from white's perspective, but really, I mean, somehow the position seems very hollow for white with that white square bishop being gone. Yet white has an excellent score in this variation. I think this is the theoretical problem, you know, but the question is, how bad is this? Only a very, very slight edge for white, it says, after knight e2, e5. Caruana versus Mikalik. Where? That's 2014. Czech player. I feel like I played him or met him somewhere. This is an interesting pawn sack. Is it enough? Caruana wins anyway, even though his position isn't really clearly better. So this is probably very important theoretically. Black going for it. G5. Bishop G5. Wow, this guy was prepared to the gills. Rook G8. H4. This isn't slow hands game, we're looking at Caruana Mikulik, but I think this is an interesting line. H6, and now bishop f6, which Stockfish thinks is a mistake. Caruana wins anyway, even though he was like out-prepared by this guy. This was back in 2014, but he was already 2791. No, but I think this variation is really, really interesting. You sound like Bob, Astrobate. He needs a dark square knight. Any case, black plays knight f6. I guess this is a London system transposition. Yeah. Looks like c3 is the most common move, but that's kind of passive. Knight f3 is possible. Is queen b6 a threat? Like if you play knight f3, it's funny how uncommon this is. What's black's best move? One game with queen b6. Eugenio Torre, b3, and white is better by 0.9. Okay. What is Stockfish like smoking here? That seems a bit over the top. He actually lost. Beverage support. I need some beverage support. We won the booze lottery last week and got 6 bottles. Tell me about this booze lottery. Did someone on sound send you some extra booze in the mail or something? They're not allowed to do the interstate alcohol shipping. I guess. It's like sending cigarettes in the mail. I'm interested though. Sign me up for the booze lotto. Alright, so d takes c5. This has kind of become fashionable in the London lately. I'm seeing a lot of people playing that. Yeah, queen a5 is always bad. We need like an emote. Like no queen a5. I know that Feingold has the f6. No f6 emote. This is the most artificial way for black to get the pawn back. Yeah, this is a slightly different position than the one I'm used to seeing. So like what up with like e6 here? Is something wrong with that? I don't get it. Why is e6 not an option? That's really strange, dude. Look at this position. There's literally no games with e6. Like, it's only the most natural move. Oh, I'm not playing that. Clearly the most natural move on the board is e6. And, 10,000 attempts to get through online. Wait, what? What are you talking about? The booze lottery had 10,000 attempts to get through online? 10,000 attempts. This move is like way more aggressive gambit style, but there's a threat of e5. You see, the thing is, normally, I guess, in positions where white plays this in the London, you're not playing bishop to e3 if you're taking the pawn on c5. This bishop's going to have to move a second time now. But this looks familiar. I think I was looking at this with move 11. Now we're talking about the theoretical position. Quite a few of these seen lately. This isn't right. I agree that c3 looks lame. It's funny that even after this, white is better. It doesn't seem like it should be. But the queen is in the way of the bishop. It's a little bit exposed there. It doesn't have a good retreat square. I imagine white has threats of knight a3, knight b5. Still, it's playable. Even this is playable. So I like your move. Now knight c6. So it's the point is if queen takes c5, you have knight b5, and that's there forever now. It's forever knight. Oh, the state-run boost stores. They're getting 8 million hits a day on the website. Ouch. Yeah, I think the system's got to go. There should be like an uproar in Pennsylvania, and it just they've got to have a revolution, a prohibition revolution. You should start a groundswell movement to take down the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Knight b5. That's really strong, dude. So he knows not to do that. He played knight c6, but this doesn't resolve the situation. Holy crap. It's going to be worse now. Okay, there's a threat of e5. So white played knight f3 and then bishop g4. Did you miss something better? a3. See, this gets interesting. If we get something like a3, queen takes c5, knight b5, e5, then we lose the initiative. Knight c7 check, king d8, knight takes a8, pawn takes f4. This is anybody's guess. You know, computers are really bad at calculating like positions where knights get trapped in the corner. I have like less clue than the computer does. But of course here we're very concerned we're going to lose 2 pieces for a rook, and black might just have the initiative. So we don't want to do that. a3 seems slow. I feel like you're Richard Rockport. What about castling? Is e5 winning a piece? Yeah, you have to lose that tempo, it looks like. This has actually been played. Sundar Shyam with black. Wow. Andrew Tang. London system expert. London system's got to be good in bullet chess. Easy to play. It's a little bit like a Karo Khan c5 takes pawn variation. We're just clinging to that pawn on c5. Here, why do we exchange unprovoked on c6? That can't be right, master. Mr. Coffee's in on the revolt. I think that you should definitely revolt. I mean, come on. It was outdated even when I was like a kid. And I remember people talking about having to go to the state liquor stores. No, New Jersey never had that law, but, you know, that system, I don't think. Bishop takes f3. Why would you exchange on c6 here? That puts this pawn in jeopardy on c5. So you play like Andrew Tang. Everybody says Andrew Tang, right? But I think it must be Tang. My friend Joe, his name is Fang. Everyone calls him Fang, but it's in Chinese it's Fan. Therefore, it must be Tang. G takes f3. Why are we not taking back here? We're not in a hurry to give him this back. So your game actually came first. Andrew Tang improved on Mr. Slowhand's game. Oh, you got b4. The insta defense. All right, I missed it. Nice. You think Tang is a London guy? Oh, he's a speed, yeah. Well, the Londonist poisoned everyone's mind, you know, who's been playing chess. He's a bullet player. He's been brainwashed like everyone else to thinking that the London is good. But in Mr. Slowhand's defense, at least he played the Trompowsky, which has a little bit of backbone, you know. Trompowsky's cool. The London is for losers. So Queen D8, man, that doesn't feel pleasant. What about A6? Are we just going to be in the oncoming traffic here with B5? I think the London system has to be like the worst opening in the world since everyone plays it. If you want to be sure your opponent's well prepared, play the London system. G takes F3, knight D7, and then we transpose to that game. I wonder if that actually started as a London system. Let's see. Let's insert the game. No, I don't want to go to the game. Insert. Can I insert it? There's something wrong here. Shouldn't it give me an option? I guess because this is your study, I'm not allowed to do that. I'm not allowed to mess with your study. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. Anyway, all right. Bishop E7. We still in the game here? Bishop E7, no. We're at the game with knight D7, and then Rook B1 was played. Yeah, Rook B1. I don't know what my idea is here. Kamsky was playing the London and stuff like that, but he was mostly playing the Tory attack back in the day. Dude, he plays anything. That's like a closed queen pawn system. It just fits his style. So, and what Jababa plays is not the London system. He's doing knight c3. He's incorporating it into the Veresov. Carlsen is a loser, playing straight up London systems. But that's typical of him. Alright, let's see. Castles. This is cool. I don't have a problem with castles, actually. Where's your king going to go? Your other option is to put it on e2. I don't think that, you know, Badr Jababa would probably castle queenside here and lose in 30 moves. But seriously, your only other option is e2. Andrew Tang played Rook b1. I guess he's anticipating a5, and then, you know, you're just going to play a3. Nothing too exciting about that. Wow. f6. e4 is just going to block it. But I didn't expect f6. I mean, look at his bishop now. I mean, this doesn't... It doesn't look right. He's going to temporarily win a piece, but not really, right? I mean, this is just black not calculating deep enough. Black just has to play some sort of normal move and then not play f6. f6 is a bad move. It's not that easy for white. I mean, your extra pawn is over here, right? But you can't play b5 without losing your c5 pawn. I think what black has to realize in this game, this is Slowhand's game, it's kind of hard for white to do anything, you know? That's, at the end of the day, my idea. The emphasis is on white to do something. He's got to be careful about his king. His pawn structure is a little loose. He has doubled pawns. I need that ambulance emote now. This looks like a mistake. Seriously weakening the white squares around the black king. And then this whole e5 thing, it's just an illusion. You're not really winning a piece here. I mean, maybe you're winning a piece for like 2 moves, and then you're going to lose a piece back. I mean, seriously, you play queen e4. Also, yeah, maybe queen e4 is the only move, because I thought queen c4. I mean, even queen c4 looks really dangerous for black, but there's probably a defense. Queen c4, pawn d5, knight d5, pawn f4. Maybe black has some way of... I would imagine even this is good. Intuitively, come on. There's got to be enough here. Yeah, I mean, even queen c4 is good. Imagine this variation. This is just insanely dangerous. And there you have d6. This is just a really, really bad plan by black to play f6. Castles. And now the onus is on white to win the game. It's not that easy for him to use his queenside majority, you know, to create a passed pawn here. What's up, Antonio Morales? So, it's the wrong attitude by black. He sort of panics and makes his position worse. And now it looks really, really sketchy. Takes, and there's that, isn't there? I didn't even see that. I mean, I thought, honestly, even without that, well, my main thing was queen c4, really, to be honest with you. Here. Takes, knight takes, pawn takes, and then I thought we had something really strong. But it's going to take a superhuman tactic or something. It's not that easy, because this is coming in. This is kind of a headache. I feel like, yeah, f6 is crazy. But, you know, he had to be accurate. This is probably best. Now f5. Knight c7 check. Can we play f5 for black here? Knight c7 check. For example, queen c7, queen a8 check. You got another check at d5. White's just winning. It should be winning, ultimately. So there's nothing that black can do. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what the best move is here for sure. There's also knight c7. But I guess that's 2 pieces for the rook. It's not that clear. Probably you're winning. I imagine this is also winning. It's not as good, though. Simply take here, and then he played this. Now you have like rook d1. Everything wins. Rook d1, knight back to d5, anything. Okay, like, this isn't so clear. You know, his king gets to safety, and you could theoretically mess up and lose. Even though you should be winning on the queen side. It's... Okay, this is a simple move. And over. The only thing we don't want to let his king get to a safe place. But we have a 4-against-1 majority on the queen side, which should be winning. I think that's winning. Yeah. And resigns. Good game. Black played weakly with f6. That variation is interesting. All right. That was our usual long analysis with my first game. Mr. Slowhand knows to get the first game, because I always spend more time in the first couple of games. Welcome to our subscriber stream, guys. International Master William Pascal. Please subscribe and become part of the stream forever. What movie am I thinking of? That was weird. I guess The Shining, sort of. The hotel once Jack Torrance to be part of the hotel forever. But I'm also thinking of another Stephen King movie. Anyway, whatever. Alright. But, yeah, that's just a good game. Impressive by Mr. Slow. Magnus is a trend follower, Coach Ah. He does whatever the other guys are doing. He's not a leader. He's a follower. The meat freezer is one of the best scenes in The Shining. Oh, Wendy, I think you hurt my head real bad. But, go check it out. Check it out. Queen e4. No, let's go on to the next game. WJ Loof up next. I don't know how long, he can hang in. Probably has a email request for the state of Pennsylvania liquor store or something to be busy with. Where's WJ Loof? Okay. For Thursday, I've got a little bit of lag. The lag is coming back, so I apologize if there's some sort of problem with the stream crashing. Well, lichess might crash. My stream won't crash, hopefully. For Thursday, I really don't know if my sacrifice was legitimate. WJ Loof is... Well, regardless, I'm going to do the game, even if they're not online, because they can come back and watch it. No problem. I'm doing it anyway. Blitz chess. It's instructive. Actually, our crash, I think the whole site might be crashing, guys. We might have issues here. I don't think it's just WJ Loof. I think it's the whole site. This is not their problem. This was crashed. The site was crashing earlier. They had ping like up to 2,000. They'll probably get back. All right. Gogis. Yeah, I mean, our last hero, Mr. Slowhand, is a really, really good player. Very theoretical. Knows his stuff. WJ Loof is white here. He was playing like Ross Limo Sicilians. Now we see something else, the Pirch defense. This is something that, like, players under 1800 maybe don't see as often. They're not as well prepared. What is J Loof's rating? Why are there no ratings here? Isn't that weird? There it is, 1427. Okay. So at this level, you're 1427, you see e4, e5, you see mostly e4, c5, maybe some French defense, but other than that, Caro-Kann, you don't really know what to do against the Pirch defense. My first defense ever was the Pirch. I had this book, The Pirch for the Tournament Player by John Nunn. The Pirch was okay because most people didn't study it as much as things like the Sicilian. But black played knight c6, so it's like we're watching... I think this is WJ Loof versus Warnacki. I played this in February against a little kid who was a master. A kid FIDE master. Fula Shiman. And I regretted it ever since. He said he was never prepared, he never played it against it, and he cranked out the first 5 or 6 moves that the computer wanted to play. D5, knight b8, c4, knight f6, knight c3, I think I played g6, and then f4. He literally played the Caruana variation. I was like, dude, are you kidding me? You've never faced this opening before, and you're going to play the super aggressive f4. I was really optimistic for a moment, and then he played like a genius after that. Somebody plays this against me. They're lower rated than me. you know, they're young, they have no experience playing against this setup, and when he played f4, I was like, yes, this is going to be a great game. And like 3 or 4 moves later, I was like, I hate my life, and I just want to offer this kid a draw. Because once he did this, then all of a sudden he shut it down. It was like c4, d4, e4, d5, f4, and then just shut it down. Like he wouldn't overextend himself. He just got to this point and then stopped, you know, and then he just started like reinforcing. He like took all the space and just started reinforcing it when I expected him to just, you know, try to blow me away and go crazy. He just showed total maturity. I don't know what this is. Who is Ezra Paul Chambers? And why is he playing Fabiano? This is some sort of stupid, whatever it is, chess league from the evil chess site that no one cares about. Yeah. But anyway, that's a dangerous system. This is good for white. You know, c4, this is good for white. White doesn't have to play f4 either. In this line, like d5, knight b8, c4. I think I actually played g6 in the game, if we're going to be honest. I think I actually used this move order and he played f4, but we transposed after like knight f6. I don't remember my exact move order. I think that was it. White doesn't have to do that. You know, white could just play like bishop d3 or something. This looks very reasonable. But whatever. So your opponent played knight f3. I mean, we're white here. WJ Loof is white. Knight f3 is fine. Once Tibor Fogarashi played like bishop e3 against me. There it is, 2004. I thought I'd surprise him, and he plays this move against me. I was like, I don't even know what to do now. It's move 4. Another weird move is f3. Probably this is better. Knight f3, bishop g4. Yeah, I had a rethink here about these variations, and I think that black should play g6. Well, first knight f6 and then g6. I did analyze that game on stream. I remember that. That probably inspired you not to play this. But my rethink is, okay, I think that this is theoretically not the best move, first of all. Black's supposed to play knight f6 first. Then after knight c3, then you're supposed to play bishop g4. This is what Tony Miles used to play. There's a problem with this line though, like d5, knight e5. This wasn't my problem. Yeah, this is not my problem. I meant bishop e3, e6. Something wrong here. It's like Miles games. What am I thinking? Bishop g4. Bishop e3. e6. And now d5. I thought this was right. ed5. ed5. Knight e5. But this doesn't seem right now, the more I look at it. Bishop g4, d5, knight b8. What is the variation I'm thinking of? Bishop g4, bishop e3 seems right. Then black plays e6. Is it h3? Bishop h5, and then d5. That's it. Thank you. So this is the problem. The game there, like Iaskas versus Miles. I think this variation is close to bad for black. Pretty bad. Miles's big idea was to play this, which is like insane, you know. It's totally insane to play like this with black. The engine must give like white a plus 1.5 or something. Jeez. Plus 1 point, yeah, 1.5 exactly. It's you know, it's just too fantastic. He was a very creative player, willing to play crazy stuff. But I think this is going over the edge a little bit too much. Anyway, that's why I decided to give up this and start playing G6 here. Probably our best shot for black. I feel like this is just always better to have the kingside fianchetto. I lost to Vadim Milov with white in this, and I also got only a draw against another Serbian guy I played a couple of years ago with white. Like, I have a half point out of 2 with white in this variation. Anyway, bishop g4, d5, and so now you're supposed to go knight b8. So this is like a blunder. Isn't this a blunder? Knight e5, bishop takes d1, bishop b5 check. You're basically just falling into a trap because you didn't memorize enough theory when you play this with black. White, it's a pretty fantastic sacrifice. Knight takes e5, bishop takes d1, bishop e5 check. I think I saw like Emery Tate try to play this with black in the World Open. He probably like lost to, I don't know, 2100 or something. I mean, it's just not, I don't think it's good enough. Though the engine says it's playable. Only plus 0.7. I didn't realize it was that close. I thought this was just good for white. c7 check, queen d7. Okay. This is playable. Yeah, so it's actually not that bad. Unless there's some improvement. It looks like it's going to hold up. Bishop e5 check, c6, it's all forced. D takes, a6, only move. No, a6 is not good. Or is it? Here our structure gets messed up. Well, this has never been played. This is wild. New variation. How does this compare? Wow. And black is going to win lose a pawn. Okay, black's lost the pawn here. I mean, this can't be as good as the other line. We're not losing a pawn the other line. I'm interested in if this holds or not, because we need to know whether to play knight takes e5 or not, theoretically. I thought it was a refutation, but I was wrong. D takes e5, c7 check, queen d7. It's all forced. So this position, when you play f3, the knight can now move. But in the hands of an extremely strong technical player, this could be a very, very long day for black here. Because do you understand what's happening in this structure? Black has no real counterplay against that majority that white has on the queen side. The 3-on-2 majority should be a lasting advantage. Matulovic Kosic, 1995. Still valid today. Slightly better for white. I thought, no, that's not the game, I know, but this is very important. Knight e5. Okay, you played what? Bishop e2. A safe move. Now you gotta really seriously consider taking with the pawn here. Aviv played bishop takes against this Dutch guy. It was like the New York Open, 1998. But, you know, he's facing like a higher rated player. They were approximately close. I mean, this is seriously. We had a similar game with Warnacki, right? Didn't we have a similar game, something like this once? I think it's worthwhile considering taking with the G pawn, something more dynamic that doesn't trade pieces. This is like way lower risk. But I mean, you know, it's no wonder that this was a draw. There's already, Kosic himself would say, just trade 2 pieces and they can't attack you. It's no problem. Just change 2 pieces and draw. Not a good Serbian. I did my Serbian accent sounds Russian. I've got to brush up on my Serbian accent. I better hang out with Kosic. But he's got the 2 exchanges. Yeah. Okay, white's theoretically better still with a space advantage. Your opponent played e5. Uh-oh. So everybody played g6. But there doesn't seem to be anything. I mean, you could play like queen c3, but I don't think that's a good move. There doesn't seem to be anything wrong with knight f6 for black here. Obviously, you know, that's okay. And e5 though, wow. So you've got queen b3, but black has queen c8, defending both pawns. You have the idea of e5. When detonating his pawn structure would be very bad for black, but he probably just plays d5, and we end up with another locked position. Actually, your bishop is on the wrong color with these pawns. Yeah, I remember that draw, Warnacki. Guys, we're analyzing subscriber games. Please support the stream if you can. Mikenas variation. It's good it has an unfair reputation. So I don't see anything concrete. You could play queen h5 check, inducing g6 and further weakening in black's position. Then queen b5 check. Now hold on a second. We're reading material here. Hello. This looks good. Yeah. This looks good, dude. I'm not believing in queen b3. Excuse me. Queen b3, queen c8, and holds. I mean, white is still better here. I guess you could play like f4, f5, and try to pry open the white squares. But this looks really convincing. Okay, so black can't play g6 or loses a pawn. So what is black supposed to do? Black's just like lost. The only move is king d7. And if queen b5 check, you have king c8. That looks fun. King d7, and your king is just trapped in the center. Like a, it looks like a piñata. Yeah, I don't know. This is not clear. You don't win any material, but the black king is never going to be happy. It's a very strange way to castle queenside. It's still a game, though. I prefer that to black losing a pawn, I think. Let's see what he did, though. So, the game was h4. Yeah, this is just not great. Not what I'm looking for here. It's not a terrible move. The idea of developing a piece actively with maybe bishop g5, but at the end of the day, you know, you're going to be encouraging black to develop and trade off a bad piece. If there were a knight on g6 and black were Steinitz, I would play like h4, h5. But no, not here. I know that I like h4, guys. Warnacki will be happy. But the Ponda likes h4. Ponda, what do you think? Ponda's favorite move? Hey, nice try. I'm sorry he doesn't like it. But I mean, as a purist, Anish Giri would frown upon this move, h4. You got more important things to worry about. Fundamental development. You need really good justification to play h4. I like it in spirit, though. It's a spicy move, very aggressive. But I think we should just, if nothing else, we just develop, something like knight c3. There's an interesting situation. You have the d file, black has an f file. You have better bishop. But queen h5 check was really strong. Solid move. See, it's okay, but at the end of the day, black will be very happy to just trade pieces if he can. You're playing Wilhelm. Wilhelm. Man, it's very reminiscent. I can't stop thinking about Steinitz versus Lasker because I'm studying that match from 1894. And there's some similarities with the Steinitz defense here, but basically W.J. Loof is Lasker and his opponent is Steinitz. King b8, queen e2. I mean, I'm glad that you pulled the bishop back, came to your senses. You didn't do something crazy like trading it for the knight on e7. Wow. 99% of tactics don't work. You heard it first here. How does this work? Another creative move, h4, e5. W.J. Loof doesn't lack for creativity. Yeah, I don't think queen b3 was as good as queen h5. Queen b3, queen c8. Maybe. Queen c8 is awkward for black too. They're both good for white. So why can't black take this? Because I believe in taking material when I've got nothing better. I need to see some evidence that white has something here. You might have had some hallucination that you had a tactic with like queen takes e5 or something. I don't know. It's not a Greek gift sacrifice. No. I don't get it. Like, what is this? Yeah, it's a lie. You lied to your opponent and they played d5. This isn't a bad move either for black, honestly, but I would prefer to take the free pawn. And again, W.J. Loof, active, playing with creativity, great idea, but I'm still taking the free pawn. So after everything's said and done, like white is down a pawn, has bishop for knight, but black center is strong. He's got the extra pawn. White has nothing concrete, and I'm a little concerned about knight c4 here. This is a safer move, though. It's possible knight c4 just b3. Well, bishop is better than the knight in an open board with pawns on both sides like this, so you have that going for you. Maybe your bishop can come back to, like, I don't know, b2 and be useful. But black is clearly better. Yeah, knight a5 is ridiculous. Black just played knight c6. He could have gone to c4, but chose to go back to c6, and now black is playing knight a5 to go to c4. Like, what? This is neat. It's neat. Maybe is it justified here? My first intuition is to play bishop back to d4. I mean, this is actually It's actually looking pretty good, and even though this knight can come to c4, may not be a big deal. Here. That is kind of a big deal, though, actually. Why is knight c4 not a good move? Okay, you don't have to move your bishop. Oh, okay, so this is the move? Great idea. Bookends. You're obviously one of those people who started playing chess with like h4, rook h3. That was one of my early tries too. Wow, infinite flash chess. Who's that again? Who gave him a mod?
Well, yes.
I like that one. Well, yes. We've got another mod in the house. I feel like taking the knight... Yeah, you like forcing it too much. White should just try to draw, improve compensation for the exchange here. This is a little bit like too forced, contrived. I don't get it. Like, what happens after rook a5, b takes a5, queen a6, c6? Why is this a problem? Is this really a problem for black? I mean, it seems like they're up the exchange, and maybe white has comp, but not really enough. But for creativity, like, WJ Luke gets 5 stars. I mean, full honor. In terms of creativity here, excellent. Many tactical ideas, creative ideas. But I'm still not sure if I would pull the trigger on the sacrifice. Would you rather be down the exchange and have compensation, or down a pawn with bishop versus knight? It's a tough call. I admit it does look hard to deal with knight c4, though. After b6. The question is, what is our alternative here? Alternative. I mean, I admit, like, rook c3, h3 is not ridiculous. Queen a6. Did someone suggest that? That looks a little committal. Thank you, Infinite Flash Chess. Reading my mind. Great minds think alike, and Infinite Flash Chess, like, he used his telepathic powers to send me that move. Yeah, I mean, otherwise the knight's really going to be annoying on c4. Unless there's something super deep here. I mean, it's possible there's some super deep moves. I was, like, wondering, like, what would happen? Yeah, I guess you can't sacrifice. Like, you can't move anywhere else. He's going to take this. Now you're just lost. So you played this. Okay, reasonable try. I don't think it was absolutely necessary. And then you came up with the lift. Wow. Wow. I mean, if you consider WJ Luke's rating is 1427, you got to give him credit here. This is not like a 2000 player playing rook takes a5 and rook h3. I mean, they're rated 1400. No, this is an everyday move for Alexei Shirov. It's kind of okay. Wow. Black's last move I didn't really get, though. Queen f7 seemed utterly random. Is this just a completely random move, or is it my imagination? I guess I would try to bother white by promoting an exchange of pieces or something with queen c7. Queen f7 is weird. It's really annoying, though. You can't play rook f8. So it's hard for black to get the rooks in the game. Didn't realize f2 was protected. Absolutely. That's what I was thinking. Now this may not be that good. Ugh. Wow. That's awesome. That's like Farouja style. WG Loof, insane game. No, I mean, that is a really, really amazing game. It wasn't that easy for black to defend. But first of all, here, you can't play rook b7 because the bishop takes a7 check. So it becomes problematic pretty quickly. The queen f7 move is to blame for black losing this game, pretty much. But he's still hanging on. It's funny, there's no tactic after like rook c7. We don't have any fancy sacrifice. He could just defend. Instead, black played, you know, kind of massive blunder with b8. But conceptually, I love this game. You know, it wasn't perfect. There were mistakes. But the ideas for white were excellent. Very inspiring chess. Great job, WJ Loof. Now, Asterbait is up next. It's good to see Infinite Flash Chess. Seriously. I know you're busy. Good to see you. We're going to be back. I mean, it's hard for everybody from our Western Hemisphere friends. Infinite was there more often when we were streaming from the US. That's not going to be around for a while. I don't know who the next time I'm going to be streaming from the US is. They let me back in the country. Alright. Asterbait. Where are you, man? Up there. I have a good grob. If you don't have a grob, can you claim unemployment benefits? It's bad. That's why they pay me the big bucks and I have so many viewers. I lost my grob this week. I must be tired. It's not even that close. It's not even that funny. Alright. I always loved the word grob, though. I made that joke about grobbing good. It sounds like a British word or something. Oh, bloody grob. Grobbing good, old man. The one what? Oh, the game from the Caruana Ezra? The 2019 Institute Club Rapid Championship. Mechanics Institute. Wow, Caruana played in the Mechanics Institute Rapid Club Championship? That's random. Maybe those were rapid ratings then. Or who knows, maybe they were like USCF ratings. I don't know what it was. I just assumed that it was some sort of... How can Caruana be playing at 2200? That's practically impossible. Unless it was on the evil website. Infinite Flash, thanks for subscribing. He subscribed. A grob means coffin. Is that true? Really? Alright, so this is Asterbait with black. Thank you guys for subscribing, especially Infinite Flash, who's almost never here. And he still supports the stream by subscribing, even though he can almost never watch the stream. That's awesome, man. Yeah, Carlsen played in the Norwegian League. That's true. I love this. Who plays b6 against the grob? That's awesome. You're a hardcore Owen defense devotee. Now, I prefer e5, the e5, knight e7, knight g6, trying to exploit these weaknesses system. What I found, though, for those of you hardcore grob supporters out there, I can't remember who it was. I had a couple games with somebody here on my stream like 2 years ago, but it was a good player. I can't remember now. They used to play on my stream who was like 2100. It might be better for white to play, you know, like English mixes. You see here, there's a game Basher against Zhang. Bassmania. It'd be funny if Keith Arkell's on my Facebook friends list. I should mention, hey, do you remember your game from 1986 against Michael Bassman where you lost to the Grob? that would be mean. But no, I mean, I think it's better to delay bishop g2 for white, technically, and play c4. We had a very good discussion about the Grob coffin. I forgot. Coffin is a common English name, too. It's an old English name, and I think there were early American settlers with that name. That's a famous name in New England. c4. I guess we actually had b6. Sorry, b6. Not really recommended against the Grob, but I guess we'll do it. Now I would assume knight c6 is what we're going to play here. Not coffin, you know, like coffin, C-O-F-F-I-N. It's like a Anglo-Saxon name. Very English. Knight c6. I would expect I would play this. Yeah, really. Go to like Cape Cod. Pilgrim settlers. The earliest, you know, probably Plymouth and somewhere like that. The really early Pilgrim settlers, the coffin name was common. Bishop g2, I'm an expert. Here, d5. Okay. This is probably not that bad, actually. It was a bit brave. Oh, awful. So that's what Grob means, coffin. Where was Grob actually from? The guy, the master Grob. I never really knew that. We probably had this discussion 2 years ago and I forgot. But he definitely... I don't remember. What is his story? Grob. I mean, it's clearly not an English name. It's got to be something Slavic. g5, h6. Swiss. Definitely the eastern part of Switzerland. No, I don't know. Dude, you're crazy to play h6. You know what this reminds me of? This variation of the Trompowsky. d4, knight f6, bishop g5, and Julian Hodgson would play... How was it? h4, right? h4. And if you take... There's always a threat to go here. This is a nasty move, dude. Like, if you do something routine, white can play g6. Just to kind of mess up your structure. I mean, I don't know if it's sound, but it's an idea. If I masturbate here, I am not like trying to encourage my opponent to play like a g6 sort of pawn sacrifice. I guess maybe it's just not a big deal. Maybe I'm afraid of ghosts. Something to do with all the coffins around here. But not a good joke during this time. h6. All right, so you let him do it. White has no guts. Anyone with any spirit would play g6. We gotta stop the stupid play on words. I'm sorry, guys. If you had a little bit of spirit, you would play g6. But he didn't. Ghosts, spirits, get it? Coffins. It's a good thing it's not Halloween. I'm not that into play on words, but now I'm addicted to it. Astrobate likes that. Dude, I don't know. You're starting one thing over here, and then you're playing h6. I mean, make up your mind. Are you playing over on the queen side? Are you playing on the king side? It feels like you're mixing and matching all sort of different ideas. It's a recipe for disaster. Look at your white squares, man. In this variation, it would be like, speaking of Swiss, Grob was Swiss. I mean, this is Swiss too. You have Swiss weaknesses all over the board. Like, I don't know. So now it's up to full equality. Oop, drop down again. It'll probably settle somewhere in the middle. It's like a scale. It usually goes up and down, and then it settles in the middle. 0.3 advantage. White definitely has some compensation here. I mean, this diagonal plus g6. You got to take care of business. Finish your business over here. Or do something about the long diagonal. But you're just ignoring it and starting a new thing over on the other side. White doesn't play g6. You got to play g6 here. Seriously. This doesn't help him that much. Oh. It's just, I'm scared of the white squares. I guess it's not that bad. Starfish agrees with Astrobate. Slowly changing its mind. I don't think I could play f6. It's too many pawn moves, please. Enough pawn moves. Wow. Okay, this is principled e5. Can we please develop some pieces soon? I like c4 by white, and I expect c6 from black. That's not really Astrobate's style, though. You're going to have to, eventually. Oh, what did he take? He could put more pressure on you with knight c3. White should play this first. Try to get you to play c6 before he exchanges. I don't know. If he gets you to play c6, you can't... I don't know. Yeah, it's not so clear, actually. But I don't like releasing the tension here. No, I like knight c3 better. I just don't know what white's going to do after this. I don't know what his next plan is. Really. You know, it looks kind of dubious. He's kind of just got a worse structure. Nothing to show for it. Maybe queen b3. The problem is if you exchange pawns here, you give black the knight c6. So, well, maybe that's not that bad. Queen b3, knight e7. And now black's threatening knight c6 and knight d4, for example. Typical Grob. It's just like a classic Grob. It's so alien. I don't know what's going on. For me, anyway. Let's see what happens. So he plays this. Check, okay. And then e4, which is a tragedy positionally. I understand that white doesn't want to like centralize your queen for you. Even that's actually not that bad. No, because you can... He's going to chase you away anyway with knight c3. I mean, it's possible this isn't that bad for white to take and play knight f3 with the idea of knight c3 next. Probably not that bad. Actually. But this move is ugly because of the backwardness on the d file. This is a serious positional mistake. But this move is okay. You know, there doesn't seem to be anything seriously wrong with knight f3, at least for now. Although structurally you're better. Masturbate's become more and more positional, and it's like intuitive. Look how well he's playing with the structure. 2 tight pawn islands. And eventually this knight will come to there and c3 and it's over. I mean d3 and it's over. We got the little issue of this though. The minor issue of the c6 pawn that needs protecting. And if we put our queen on d7, how do we play knight d7? So how do we protect c6 and still play knight d7, knight c5, or knight d7, knight c5, knight d6? Knight can't go to a6. That's how we do it. Like white just lets us. But this is just hanging, you know. White's position is really bad. You don't play g4 and e4 here. I mean, e4 is really bad. It's over after that. He's basically lost. He had to play this. This is an awful move. Why not like c5 and then knight here? That's one thing. Queen d7 is another good move. Nice thing with queen d7, we would have maybe knight a6, and then we'd have double threats with knight c5 and knight b4. And the other possibility is just knight d7 right away, because the queen takes c6, you have rook c8. It's over. So you can just directly play knight d7 as well. Lots of options for black here. This is a very strange move. Acerbate. Just putting your queen out there for white to gain tempi on it. Very bad decision. You just gained 2 moves of development while you're just moving your queen around. Completely saved his whole position. There's absolutely no reason. This is a classic thing, right? Here we are, white to move. Black just wasted 2 tempi with the queen. And what does white do? The queen is actually placed pretty badly here. It has basically no threat. It's not doing anything. It's getting in the way of a knight coming to b4. What do? You leave it where it is. It's not bothering you. It's like a bee flying around that's not stinging anyone. I mean, what you don't want to do is like force black to correct his mistake. You know, we're going to play a3 and then force black to come to his senses, you know, bring the queen back to a good square. Or force black to challenge us with queen b3. This is a bad move. I understand Acerbate didn't want to trade queens. That's probably about equal. So he plays this. Computer is looking at some nasty stuff. You know what's going to happen here. This is such a beautiful idea. The whole position would change, and all of a sudden white is better because Acerbate didn't develop all of his pieces. Black could get slaughtered. There's tactics on this diagonal. There's the C file. There's stuff like knight b5, castle's queenside, maybe for white, rook d1. And this queen is a target in the middle of the board at d6. The whole thing turned around when you started playing those crazy queen moves. Okay, b4 kind of, okay, what are you going to do with your king now? Getting the rook off the long diagonal is good prophylaxis. You can't play this because of knight b5, I guess. Or at least you have to think about it. You know, you have to think about c5. This type of position is going to require some serious calculation. But I think in this type of situation, I feel I'm starting to gain confidence here. Maybe we can get c5 and lock him down. It's like a Marazzi. Knocking down. Now a5, okay, you're right. Warnacki. It's a really crazy position. Our king's in the middle of the board. Our bishop's buried. It looks like chess 960. And they're playing a5. But it's possible that a5 opens up the rook and can play. Yeah, I agree. A5 is interesting here. It basically looks like Astrobate is trying to smother mate himself. The next sequence will be like knight b5, queen e6, knight c7, mate. You're trying to set up self-mate, it looks like. Cutting off your queen's only retreat square. Oh my god. White can just calmly play maybe knight ge2, developing, no, then c5. Yeah, that's a great variation. Knight ge2, c5, and then like knight b5. We're gonna get some sort of mate going on. Bishop f4, knight b5, try to get in here. Your opponent took with a rook. This is kind of strange move. You take with the bishop, you have discoveries. Or develop a piece by moving the knight. But he took with a rook. Oh man. Okay, Astrobate, you're no longer allowed to move your queen in the first 10 moves. Do you understand? Your new restriction. Let's just lay down the rules, okay? You are not allowed to move your queen anymore in the first 10 moves. You're like regressing back to your kindergarten chess level. Seriously. You were playing great until you started just randomly moving your queen around. And you used to do that when you were starting out watching my stream before you improved. I think this was an early trait of your play. And it seems like there's a regression. See, yeah, because he hasn't been socially distancing. He's regressing. Infinite Flash, man, thank you for stopping by. Seriously. I hope you can stream and I can catch one of your streams. I think I did recently see you streaming. Queen e5, queen a4. I never have time to watch anybody else either. I wish I did. But, you're on my Discord channel. Guys, you can check out the Discord channel. Queen a4. This is like contagious. This is like the ridiculous. Look at these pieces here. What is going on? In the 6x6 block. Why don't you maneuver your queen over here to h5 and like g8 or something? After f4 you can play like queen h5. White can develop a piece and then queen g8. Queen h7. I don't know, castles and then queen g8 and just offer a draw or something. This seems reasonable to me to play like that. No, the queen does not belong out. Like, in all seriousness, I'm just kidding around. The queen does not belong out here on e5. And White's next move is bad too. Totally artificial, anti-developing move. He's doing the same thing you are. I mean, at least you're attacking something with queen e5. He's attacking something with this. Alright, so you picked up a pawn. Now why not come back? I think just consolidate here. I mean, White may have some compensation. I'm not sure though. There's a really bad things that can happen to both sides here. You're up a pawn. He's got to prove it. You know, he's got something. I'm concerned again, like your queen is sort of out away from the other pieces. Coordination. This is a really messy game. White just... I mean, is e5 really right? I guess he's trying to get... I mean, what is he doing, actually? Rook h4? Some sort of cheapo? I mean, you could take with the pawn, attacking his rook. There are sort of weird smothered mate ideas White could be going for, but I don't think it's mate, and I don't think it's forced. There's also knight g5. And you just hung a rook. Alright. That's it. We're out. Never play f6. It's a good thing that, you know, Asterbait watches my stream and not Feingold. He would never find the best move in this position. I actually was horrified by f6 too. And then the engine says it's like the best move. This is over. Material. Material is decisive. I'm not sure if it was an accurate finish or not, but it's good enough. But that is funny, you know, honestly. Very back and forth game, very weird. But I was like sort of physically in pain when you played f6. It's actually the best move according to Stockfish. I don't know, man. It's hard to understand chess, you know. This to me looks like too many pawn moves this early in the opening. But it's still a concrete problem. Like, we have to develop our pieces. I probably would have played knight f6, you know, here. I'm not particularly worried about this. I would just take back with a g-pawn. So, that's just my personal preference. And maybe I would have played f6 on a more adventurous day. Anyway, Asterbait, thanks for watching, being part of our stream on a regular basis. I don't mean to pick on you. You made a lot of progress, but this queen a5, d4 adventure was like really unprincipled. You got to really try to control yourself with the queen in particular. I mean, it's one thing when you make provocative moves with your bishops and your knights and stuff, and I guess you can kind of do that. But the queen in particular, you can't just be throwing it out there to lose. You lost 2 tempi where you were clearly better and let the opponent back in the game. Queen d4 was just basic mistake. I know you can do better. So, alright guys. Jim, pass pawn 99, Yabatis, and Warnaki. I feel like we're missing some regulars this week. Who didn't submit a game? Uber driver, for example. All right, Jim. Jim always submits a game. Actually, where is he? I feel like I'm going too far back here. He was after Asterbait. It was all the way back here? That seems too far. Yeah, I already went past shorthand. Oh, man. I think we got internet issues at the server for lichess. I've got this guy sending me random hi every 5 messages. Damn, where's Jim? Where are you, man? There it is. It was hiding. HTFP, you didn't submit. That's true. Troll in a roll. Do I know the Timofeyev versus Khairulin game or Kishmatulin? Yeah, I'm taking submissions of games for the subscribers. The subscribers on Twitch are welcome to submit games. That's an answer to Bray Schuler. What's up, HTFP? So troll and roll, but what is the relevance of that game? Timofeyev Kishmatulin. Alright, 5+2 simul. Ugh. Very fast game. Against Zhigalko's brother. Brother of Zhigalko. It's been 6 months that I play terribly, but sometimes I survive using childish attacks. It works for Asterbait. Alright. Skylar. That's interesting. I never knew that. There was a guy when I was a junior player. I think he was a top junior for my age with the same family name. But I never met him. No one ever told me how to pronounce it. You can't know until you learn. That's going to be the quote of the century. Asterbate, what's up? 1,000. Asterbate with 1,000. We'll have to give Asterbate a harder time. He seems to support the stream more when we beat him up a little bit. Where's your lunch money? No, we're not going to pick on Asterbate. He's been very supportive of the stream. It's a Revolutionary War general. Colonel Coffin. My mom was in the Daughters of the American Revolution. We have some relative that goes back to 1600s. But well, like, you know, settlers. I'm old school. Anyways, we've got Asterbate with 1,000. That's why I live in Hungary. I live in a like Catholic European country, and I'm a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant. Everything's possible. Whatever. All right. So Zhigalko, this is not the high-rated Zhigalko who plays like, you know, he's number one in Rapid and Blitz and whatever on lichess. This is his bro, who I guess is on here too. All right. The older bro playing e4. It always seems like the younger one is stronger than the older one. That happened with the Polgar sisters. It happened with the Almashis. Happened here. Isn't that weird? I mean, is it ever like if there's two strong players, is the older one ever better than the younger one? The younger one is, the new generation is always better. I thought you said drugs. 1,000 bits. I'm waiting for my check. My government stimulus check was supposedly processed on May 1st. But, you know, with Hungarian mail, I might get it by next year. So I'm optimistic. This is a Caro-Kann. Zhigalko is white. Jim is black. Okay. I actually like the Panov, but it's probably not white's like best line. Jim plays e6 here. Nobody plays e6 in this position. That's weird. It's totally fine, but nobody plays that. Even that's weird. Like, why would you play e6 instead of knight f6? Check out the stats. 10,000 people played knight f6. Like 185 played e6. There's actually nothing wrong with the move, but there's something... I don't know. There's something more aggressive about playing knight f6 than e6. Knight f6 covers two central squares at e4 and d5, whereas e6 just covers one, but it does allow your bishop out. There could be some independent variation where you're not playing knight f6, actually. It's probably nothing, but I'm just saying, like, here's an interesting idea that I've never considered, and look who played it. Badur Yubava. What we're basically doing here is playing a Rogozin type of idea from the Queen's Gambit and imposing it on the Pana Botvinnik Caro-Kann. Just an idea to throw out there. I think one of the most important things in modern chess opening theory is to be ahead of the curve, you know. Come up with new ideas, not play the same thing everyone knows. I mean, it's hard to find new ideas that are going to keep people on their toes. I'm just thinking, like, what's the significance of Jim's move order here? Why e6 instead of knight f6? This is one of the only ways you could really try to make this work. Or being sufficiently far behind. We appreciate your sense of humor. If nothing else. Spectacular Camel. Alright, anyway, so all that move order just to play knight f6. You just confused him. Playing e6 made him spend like 3 extra seconds on his next move, like wondering why the leap. Like he played e6. Alright. Knight f6, knight f3. And basically here he plays... I'm saying basically all the time. It's a word obsession. Gotta catch yourself sometimes. There ain't no way I'm playing d takes c4 in this position. That's really behind the curve, man. Nobody plays d takes c4 here. 33 players out of 6,000 games played d takes c4. I think Jim knows that, though. I don't think you're making this up, at this point. This must be something you had prepared. I want to show you guys something. I was thinking about the Caro-Kann, and for example, you can play c6, d4, d5, ed, cd, c4. What am I saying? I'm thinking of a different line. That's my problem. This line was c4. This often transposes, but the move order has some, slight and important differences in this type of position. So you can just like take, and take without actually playing d4. And what Jim's position reminds me of is this. It's not that bad to just take with the queen and lose the tempo. So basically the argument would be like this position here. We just go ahead and do this and then play e6. And go ahead, it's your turn. Yes, white's better. White's got a better score. But inherently, like if you can hold this position, it's probably a little passive. It's not that bad. It's playable. I think it's going to transpose to that, as if you play this move order. But nobody does this, and I don't think it's optimal. He just takes, bishop e7, castles. Is this a Steinitz exchange? This is a Steinitz Queen's Gambit accepted now, I think. Vallejo plays the Queen's Gambit accepted, so that would make sense. As I mentioned before, he's played it against me back in like 2000 in Blitz. Old school Queen's Gambit accepted player. Not a lot of them around. So, Jim willing to play this. I have another friend who plays the Queen's Gambit accepted. So this could also be a c3 Sicilian. I think they call it the Steinitz variation. The main move is b6, d5, and knight a5, the favorite move of Paco Vallejo. I have no idea what the status of it, but white's score is awfully good. Just say it's like a kind of passive line. a6 is interesting. It's a little cagier than b6. And we still have that knight a5 move. Yeah. But now if b5, you just get hammered with d5 and there's no trick with knight a5. You just have to play this. Try to hold on. Doesn't look that bad. Maxim Dlugi, another hardcore Queen's Gambit accepted player. 1985. Max is one of the only Americans I know, aside from Kaidanov. Maybe Feingold plays QGA. But he does like Chigorin and stuff. Queen takes d5, bishop e7, queen h5. This is probably like some old school variation that's been around since like the 50s. It's not pleasant for black. But instead, Jim has some weird ideas. So he plays queen c7. I'm going to guess that he's probably actually put some thought into this. The only really obvious idea, the queen looks a little more exposed along the c file. But the only really obvious idea, and of course I could play like g3, bishop f4, which is double-edged, is that black wants to play rook d8. But that would weaken like the diagonal. So what is white supposed to play in this position? Now think that Jim put some thought into this. This isn't just something he made up over the board. Either he's played it before or he's concretely thought about it. But it's like, what does white do now? That's the problem. This square is not very good. This square is sort of stupid. There's no bishop f4. So bishop g5. What else? Well, he plays bishop g5. Rook d8. No, rook d8. I definitely expected this. There's a Steinitzian sort of maneuver with bishop d7, bishop e8 you could play. I've done that in the c3 Sicilian. It looks like a c3 Sicilian, although black's position is kind of creepy. This is going to start getting ugly soon here. We can't mess around too long. What is our plan? Like knight h5 or something? Are you serious? Can you play knight h5? Bishop h4, knight h5. I'm afraid of like d5 happening. This is the idea. I mean, would be my idea. Classic trick to try to trade pieces. Bishop e7, knight e7. Keeping an eye on d5. No, if the knight comes in, you just bring it back. It's passive, but you traded some pieces. Maybe black can hold. I don't like black here. But it's possible that you could survive. I don't know. Let's see. What's the best move? Let's see how my knight h5 fares. Apparently it loses. This not too surprisingly. I mean, I saw this and this. That's what I was planning. Rook d8 pin. Not surprisingly, black's development is too far behind. It's looking pretty nasty. If knight e4 is possible. Knight e4 instead of what? Knight e4 here, like it's a move. I guess it's just some sort of move. Troll and Roll and Alyekin would play that. It's a move, right? Is this what you mean? This is probably not great. Not as good for white as the game. That was really strong. So knight h5 is too slow. You've got to play rook d8. But it's starting to get really nasty. This is a serious problem. I guess you got bishop d6 though. It looks like it holds on. You got bishop d6, you got b5 covered. White might play d5 anyway. That's a classic c3 Sicilian trick. But I guess we could just take. There doesn't seem to be anything here. How bad is rook d8? Damn, the engine thinks it's like equal. Almost equal. So this is just a mistake. Though a natural one, b5. This is the kind of move that grandmasters don't miss. He's probably played the structure many times. Okay, so Jim has rook d8. If bishop g3, bishop d6. He calmly plays rook c1. It's a really nice principled move by white. Bishop e7. Now white needs something. There's no way he's finding the computer move knight d2. I don't even understand how that works. Does anybody? Somebody explain this to me. Oh yeah. Oof, there's the pin here. There's this line. That's evil. So it's like knight d5, knight d5, pawn d5, bishop e7, and we're pinned. Even rook e7. Yeah, Bill Kelleher did that to me before. But not with knight d2. You know, I've walked into this type of thing before where I like took on d5 and got hammered by some sort of sacrifice. Maybe queen d3 or something like that. I've probably played positions like this. Your opponent played what? Queen e2. Yeah, this is a natural move. So now you have ed. He's got nothing better than this. And black's holding on. Knight b6 is threatened. Knight b6 is threatened. But you have knight d4 now. Really nice trick. If knight b6, knight d4. That's a nice move to find with time pressure. h3, and now black's turn. Can you play anything here to get out of the tension? Pass pawn 99, welcome. That's a normal waiting move, and I guess it still doesn't help us though. Like, what? We need a way to get out of this. It looks like the only way to get out of it is like g6 followed by bishop g7 and queen f8 or something. It takes 3 moves. Even if you played like bishop g5, you would have to worry about h4 and you'd be right back in it again. There's almost no way to get out of this without getting your pawn structure detonated. Oh man, this is a classic Russian grandmaster. King f1. He's actually Belarusian. But not a lot of people know like how to make a waiting king move. And I joked about this a couple weeks ago. Candidate masters, sometimes from the former Soviet Union, are particularly strong. There must be like some kind of Pioneer's Palace class on like waiting king moves that Western players don't know about. Like King f1. You have to be a classically trained grandmaster to find that. He just realized that black doesn't have a move, so he just basically passes with King f1, figuring the black will make a mistake if he just keeps the tension. But again, is it possible that we can play g6 and bishop g7? How does white up the game here? There doesn't seem to be a discovery after this move. Oh, I see. So the point is King f1 is just tricky. It's no longer knight d4, knight e2 check. And he didn't like h1. I guess he didn't like h1 because of the long diagonal. So he thought, I'll put my king on f1. And then on knight b6, knight d4, it's like knight d4, knight, queen b6. If that makes sense. You've got stuff like knight b6, knight d4, knight c8. Knight takes e2 isn't check. That's deep, dude. Poor Jim just panicked. But what's he supposed to play here? Is there any sort of trick for you, like knight d4? Can we do this? I'm just wondering if black has a trick. Can we mate white because of that King f1 move? Is it possible that we have a trick instead of white now? All these discoveries they would have had otherwise. We have queen h2. He set himself up, to get mated on h1. This, for example, is like lights out after queen h2. It does seem like kind of a weird thing. Like, do we have this move? I mean, there's obviously knight f6, queen f6, knight d4, rook d4. There's no problem. There's no back rank mate. We've got it covered. f7's protected. I don't see it. So the moment he plays king f1, do we have this? There's a problem. Some sort of insane tactic. White never would have found this. Maybe he would have. Knight f6, queen f6, knight d4, rook d4. He would have found it. Bishop f7 check. Oh, jeez. We lose a pawn. Because at the end of the day, if you take with the king, You get rook d4, queen d4, queen e6 check, and takes on c8. But I mean, it's hard to believe that he would have seen that, you know, in a quick game. I still think this is probably like the move I would play. I would take my chances with it. What does the engine suggest? The Paco Vallejo. Vallejo. Knight a5 is always good. That's unbelievable. You're like in this intense pin and you just put your knight out on the side of the board. Everything's okay. But this is just like a catastrophe. I mean, here, you might as well just resign after queen f8. You can't do that. I mean, this is over. This is just total devastation to Black's pawn structure. I mean, in time pressure with 30 seconds left, I'm sure, you know, you might be able to trick him or something, but there's no way I'm letting this happen. I'd rather be a clear pawn down than have that structure. So it's just a torture from here. Clearly this guy is like a very technical player, and I'm not surprised. White doesn't have a lot of time. It's a simul. And he weakens the dark squares now. A bit. Yeah, if you fix the pawns, something like queen g5, pawn g5, I mean, I think that white is still better. But maybe you can survive. How bad is this, actually? It's pretty bad. Black might be lost even here. One of these pawns is likely to fall at the very minimum. You know, white has pretty much everything. But Jim was short of time. The guy doesn't want to trade. Now there's some kind of tactic. I mean, there's just like bishop g2 check. Yeah. You got lucky. Those simuls where they try to play too fast, though. I mean, this guy's got a very technical style. He's not specializing in like insane tactical complications, probably. Yeah, that was an interesting though. You know, it's like an interesting opening system that might be okay for Black, but you can't make any mistakes. Actually, kind of interesting. Queen c7. It was played by Radulski, who's a pretty good player. I never met him. All right. Anyway, Jim, thanks for submitting. I've got 3 games left. We got to move along. Pawn. Pass pawn 99. Yubatis. Yubatis toward the end of the list somehow. How did you drift so far down? I feel like Yubatis somehow drifted down to the bottom of the list, and Warnaki. All right. I think pass pawn 99 was first, though. Here. Pawn pusher. We can always tell it's what's this? All right. Rated classical game. I hope this game score will sink in. Hopefully this will work. Please work. You're not working. Please work. All right. So what did I say? Oh, man. Here's a game for tonight's house. Subscribe stream. You're white. All right. I'm going to have to paste it again. Now it's not working. It's already in there. All right, that's cool. It saves it. So you're white here. I got to stop playing this with white. I'm starting to hate the Reti with white. My biggest problem is when Black plays like c6. I just can't take it anymore. I'm gonna lose my mind. It's interesting if they play something more aggressive like c5, reverse Grunfeld, symmetrical English, King's Indian, whatever, Grunfeld, I don't care. But the c6 is just like, I want to start hammering my head on a cement wall or something. This just gets really tedious. They either play the London system like this guy did, or they go bishop g4, both of which are really, really solid for black. Don't Cry Wolf was here earlier. Welcome, guys. All right, we've got about half an hour left, so let's make it good. 3 games to go. What did you play now? c5, good. This is much more interesting. We're playing, like black a tempo up. And d4 right away. This is a very provocative move. I think it's a little over the top, personally. But it's interesting. I'll give you that. It's interesting. I don't believe it in principle. I think you should play bishop g2 and to see what black does. I would rather play a proper Grunfeld reversed with like d4. You're basically playing like a Marshall defense with an extra move here. Makes it kind of okay, but I still don't believe in it in principle. cd4 and black play knight f6. No. This is fundamental chess. If you're going to play like this, I'm going to take your pawn on d4 and I'm going to destroy your center, and that's it. Okay? You don't have a center anymore. I am not going to let you get away with it. Knight takes d4. Now black can choose how aggressively he wants to play. Like, you could go whole hog and play like e5, or you can play just a solid move like knight f6. It's up to you how aggressive you're going to be. But I think this is a no-brainer. We definitely take here on d4 and destroy your center. Acerbate, wow. Acerbate, are you challenging for first place? Are you challenging the bit leader, Mr. Slowhand, with 600? Man, that is great. Thank you. All right, Acerbate up to 1,600 bits, taking out Mr. Slowhand. We haven't had a bit battle in a long time. I think it's like pandemic poverty. People are more cautious with the bit donations, understandably. But much appreciated. You got your stimulus check early. Yeah, I'm a little concerned. Like mine was deflected by the powers that be. If I don't get it in the next month, I'm gonna like cancel it and ask them to do like a bank transfer, because I don't trust the Hungarian mail. All right, knight takes d4, e5. Very principled play by black. Black can instead play knight f6. Barons in chess just donated 500. So now we have a bit battle, sort of. Barons in chess is on the board with 901. And Mr. Slowhand just woke up again with 1,000. Our first bit battle in like, I don't know, it seems like 6 months. Wow. Legitimate bit battle with Mr. Slowhand up to 2,500, Acerbate with 1,600, and Berenzen in the mix, donating 600 bits up to 900. You guys are awesome, especially on a subscriber Thursday stream. We don't have as many viewers usually because it's like really serious, and people, they don't want to think and work hard. For those of you with like ADD, I know the Thursday streams are a little bit of a grind. HTFP, it's a thought that counts with 100 bits. Getting on the board. This is like sketchy. Bishop f5. Anytime you're playing against the Grunfeld, tempo down. The Grunfeld's pretty good as it is. If you're a tempo down, you got to be careful not to play too sharply with black. I've never really seen anyone do this. It's not really a Grunfeld either, because white hasn't played knight c3. I think something's happening. Hype train incoming. There's a hype train incoming after Warnacki. You'll have a limited time to earn exclusive emotes. The hype train, level 1. Sub gift or use bits to get to the next level. There's like 5 minutes for the hype train. at 63%. Available rewards. You can earn 1 emote per train by subbing, gifting, or using more than 100 bits in total during the event. Exclusive emotes are given out at the end of the Hype Train event and will be available to use until they are refreshed with a new emote theme. Level 1 emotes. You have 4 minutes. Choo choo. So the Hype Train level 1 has started. Thank you guys, Barons and Chess, Asterbait, Mr. Slowhand, HCFP. Asterbait with another 850. Don't spend your whole stimulus check. Warnaki with 100 for the love professed to the McKennis, which I do play. I prefer to call it the Nimzovich defense, but it's technically different. Mr. Slowhand with 1500. I have to give all I got. He got it up to 93%. We only need to go 7% more for the Hype Train level 2. I feel like an auctioneer. Man, Mr. Slowhand, thank you. 1500 bits. He gave up all of his bits for the sake of the Hype Train. And we're at 93% on this level. Bishop f5 incoming. We've got 3 minutes left on the Hype Train. This move is dubious, but how dubious is it? It's an interesting question. Warnaki took us up to 95%. At least we'll reach level 2 with like 1 more donation. Warnaki with another 100 bits. Mr. Slowhand, the weekly leader, for sure ahead of Asterbait now. And we're up to 95% with half of that 5 minutes left. Bishop f5, castles is good. You could try to go c4 right away. Asterbait just put us over 100%, gifting 5 tier 1 subs. To Elder Balam, Epic Larv, to Tranquilizer, Grandmaster Levante Vida, Vital Levante. Good to see Tranquilizer here, hanging out with us. And Chris Kane and Brace Skyler. So, level 1 complete on the Hype Train. Grandmaster Vida Levante lurking out there. We rated his stream the other day. He's now a subscriber. So I think you can bust to C4 anytime, guys. Good to have some new subs. We hit the Hype Train level 2. And anyway, castles H6. Does black have time to play like this? No. C4, bang. Good move. Now D takes C4. You want to play as sharply as you can here. This diagonal basically looks extremely dangerous for black. He just abandoned his center. That would be a kind of normal move, I guess, if the knight's on C6, but it looks particularly dangerous here. 95 right away. The problem with 95 is that it's not a developing move. Oh, it is a Tarash, Warnaki. It is a Tarash. That's the Grunfeld is a Tarash, in my opinion. It's basically the same thing. I think any good developing move here. Knight C3, just developing. Knight E5 is interesting. It looks like Knight E5, his only move is Bishop E4. I was wondering about this. What is going on around here? I'm getting a headache from this position. You might even have fun stuff like F3. That's shutting down diagonal. Then he can go back. I'm honestly not sure, but I am happy we had a Hype Train and a lot of donations. I got kind of distracted from analyzing this game, though. What's the best move after DC? Guys, check out Tranquilizer as well here on Twitch and lichess, Grandmaster Vida. When he's around, I'll try to rate his stream as well. I don't know. 95 feels tempting. Let's check out what the Oracle says. It's a tough call. All these moves, Queen A4, Knight E5, and Knight C3. I like developing, guys. That's where our advantage is, and you want to magnify it and pound on it. When you have a lead in development, black is lagging in development. Think about it consciously, and then you want to just pounce on it. So just keep developing. This is a good move. I guess right now the engine's saying knight c3, but if you think about it, of the three moves, knight e5, queen a4 check, and knight c3, if you look at those three moves, knight c3 is the most fundamental because it develops a minor piece. Knight e5 moves the same piece twice, queen a4 check bringing out the queen early. But we can use general principles to kind of confirm that this is definitely a very fundamental move. My only fear was that black has knight c6, but then we can blast him with d5, and I think black's just getting rolled off the board. So he can't just play knight c6 in this position, and that's easily his most natural move. a5 is not going to happen here. Anyway, let's see what happens. Queen a4 check. Okay, this is not bad. 1 minute left on the hype train. Last call for the hype train. Yeah, this seems to take a little bit of the sting out of it. Queen c4. I feel like my balloon is leaking here. The air is slowly coming out after bishop d7. I don't like it as much as knight c3 and knight e5. Here, it's clearly fine for white. You have a good Catalan, though. Barons in chess with 100 bits. And then takes. Really? I mean, I don't know if black has time for this. He has time for taking on d4. Are you threatening knight e5? Mate in 1. I mean, it'll be a double threat. We've got b7 and possibly f7 going. You know, that looks like it could be fatal. It's a Catalan. It's a Grunfeld. It's a Tarrasch. It's all three. See, that's the thing. You call it what you want, but it's all three openings at the same time. Acerbate Berentzen. I love the reverse Grunfeld, dude. But here, don't you have him with knight e5? What is black going to play? Bishop b7 is coming next. If only we had like a bishop on e4 or something, we could sack our queen. Choo-choo! Received a level 1 hype train emote. We got great work. Emotes are being delivered to supporters. And Barons in chess, Acerbate, final donations of 100 bits each. Dude, knight e5, what's he going to do? I think this just wins. Bishop e6, only move. And then another queen check. And then, okay, this isn't that clear. Knight on bd7. Bishop takes b7. Rook b8. And then what, like knight c6 or something? This is probably good enough. There's a6. a6. And then we're going to win the exchange. The only thing is, in this final position, around here somewhere, if we play knight c6, we could drift here. This could get dangerous. Let's look at this. You know, how we can lose the initiative. Takes. The white squares. There's some small possibility that it can get out of control and black could get... I mean, there's also h5, h4. You got to be a little bit careful if you give up the white square bishop, particularly. So I would try to find a better way where you don't have to give up your white square bishop. Computer says like rook b8. Maybe this isn't so easy, but we've got a really nasty threat of knight c6 on the board. That looks hard to deal with. That looks really strong, actually. Yeah, I don't like giving up our white square bishop. So let's try not to do that. Okay. Anyway, queen a4 check, bishop d7. I think the white square bishop is worth a rook, to say the least. This was a slow move. Knight d4. Yeah, this isn't as good. He can just play knight c6 now. Black's kind of getting out of the woods a little bit here. I guess you win a pawn. Okay, you win a pawn, it's technical after knight c6. So he didn't want to do that. He played queen c8. It almost holds. Wow. So you've got no material advantage, but you have the one threat of this. You have the bishop on the brutal diagonal. Yeah, at the end of the day, you're just going to pick off a7. I had the Sveshnikov game against Sveshnikov. It was a c3 Sicilian. Levente Vita would appreciate that. Yevgeny got his knight on b5, and I never got my knight off of a6. You know, this is a nightmare for black. It's just over. You know, you can't do anything. Bishop e3, and you lose your a7 pawn. Yeah, it's very bad. Very bad for black. So that was a good job. You didn't play the perfect move, knight e5, but this is good enough. Yeah, so his best was like to lose a pawn. He could have played queen b6. This still looks insanely dangerous. And sacrifice our b2 pawn maybe for initiative. I love playing the white side of these positions. It's just wicked. This looks winning. Oh, no. Bishop f4. Why bishop f4? You got this and you just pick that off. I don't understand bishop f4 really. It's just like, okay, but you're not going to win anything. Not bad, but not as good as bishop e3. This move I like, though. That's cool. He's defending. What about our other piece? This is becoming more and more technical, and your advantage is kind of slipping a little bit. Yeah, I would have cashed in on the more materialistic bishop e3, but let's assume bishop f4. Black could have played knight d5 straight up. No, he can't. That loses a piece. Sorry, I'm getting sleepy. e6 here, knight d5. Yeah, you also have this. This is a provocative move. f6 maybe. That's a theme today. But I don't blame you for giving up the bishop here. But you got a very technical edge. And I'm just thinking, I want to increase the pressure. Though I guess I understand, like after this, what do you do now? It's not easy to say. Probably you can win a pawn sooner or later. You're going to pick off the d5 pawn. Black will have drawing chances down a pawn. Overall, good game. Oh, he missed bishop a5. This saves him. You know, losing that central pawn isn't that bad. Something like this. He'll have counterplay on the white squares. Two bishops. I mean, black has excellent chances to hold in this type of endgame. You know, anytime you give up that bishop on d5, you're going to be a little sad. What you really would like is like a straight up good knight on d4 versus bishop on d7 type of Capablanca floor endgame. But let's see what happened. Bishop e4, a3. Yeah, I mean, the problem is, like, you can play knight c3, but he'll take, and then you have to, like, bring your rook back and waste time. And taking with the pawn would mess up your structure. Probably... Oh, there's an awesome move. Rook c1. That's really cool. Magnus Carlsen would be like 1-0 against almost anybody in this position. Magnus in the ops colored bishop and rook endgame. That's a neat move. So the game was actually a3, but he misses bishop a5. Yeah, he wanted to hang on to his pawn. Actually, he can't defend it anyway. But bishop f6 is his idea. What's his idea here? No idea. That's the problem. I thought he had an idea, but he doesn't have an idea. That's a nice place for a bishop on h5. He can't castle. Nice game. Rook's on the 7th. It's over. How can we break through, though? It's amazingly difficult to break this. I don't see a forced win. for white. How do you finish black off here? Bishop d6 or something? That's crazy. That doesn't work. How do you finish black off? It just looks like you have to start collecting material. That's what you did. I mean, you're winning, but I really don't want to have to grind him down. I want to finish him off here. That's a nasty threat. That might finish him off. He has a check, though. Oof. So what do you recommend now for black? Anybody? Yeah, that's a good idea, Warnaki h4. But now this is over. I mean, there's two mates. And if you castle, you lose your bishop. It's over. It was basically a good game. I mean, some inaccuracies. That was a little bit weird. Why is your king not moving up here? Why is not king f4? Spoken like a true Eastern European. I've been living here a long time. Why is not king f4? Bishop e3 check, king f5. Rook d5 check. It starts to get kind of annoying, but it's probably winning for you. Yeah, I don't want to get stuck on the back rank. You know, this is a dangerous scene. You don't want to be there on the back rank. That was close, dude. You actually don't have a mating threat that I can see. Is this something for black at this point? No, he's lost anyway. It's lucky with those two rooks and the bishop he doesn't have a mating attack himself. It just got out of control. No, you're still winning. You're still winning, even though you're dropping all your material. The technique was a disaster. Now it's not even clear. Maybe it's a draw now. Oof. Reminds me of an endgame I lost once against somebody. Now it's a draw. Yeah, that was just a disaster endgame. You're totally winning. I don't know how the time situation was, but we can just agree to a draw here. All right. It was anticlimactic. You know, he had him completely busted. And then, I guess, time pressure. It was a really nice game, though. b4, bishop takes b4, draw. Well, bishop takes b4. I would try king e2, I guess, if I was playing. Can we play king e2? It's like check here. Yeah, I'm not sure that's right. Well, king e2. I mean, taking is a draw, but we could try to win still, technically. Like, if you could get rook and knight against king, you should try to play it out. It's a draw, but if you're allowed, I mean, I don't think it's unsportsmanlike. I've seen people lose it. Walter Brown famously had a bet with the guy that he couldn't win, and he did, against a strong master. If you could get him to sack his bishop for the pawn, and you basically have no losing chances here. So you should try that. Anyway, guys, I got two last games I got to go over, so I'm going to move a little bit. Thanks so much for the donations, guys. Mr. Slowhand with 4,000 bits this week. Asterbait with 2,550. Berenson getting to the top with 1,001. We also had support from WJ Loof today, and I think Warnaki, Coach A, and HTFP. I don't remember exactly when you guys donated, but most of it was today. Thanks so much, everybody. To get to the new hype level, bishop takes a5. Oh, you're such a purist. But Mr. DK, Walter Brown will take you out, man. Walter Brown would take you out here. It's not that trivial, you know. People have lost it. Did Polgar lose this once or something? I guess she lost with Rook and Bishop against King. Or against Rook. There are like famous, you know, stories, mythological stories about title players losing this. DK guy, I wouldn't voluntarily go into this if I had another way to draw it, you know. Especially not in time pressure. Of course, it's an easy draw if you know the technique. It's much better than... It's not like Rook and Bishop, which is really very, very tricky and easy for anybody to lose. It's still... It's a good question. Should Black have another... This is coming Rook A1. Not a lot of dark squares left to stop that pawn on, so we gotta be sure. Yeah, I mean, I might have concluded the same, that this is probably the best option, but I would certainly exhaust all the other possibilities before I did it. All right, Ubatis. Ubatis resubscribed. This is Ubatis versus Volgserg. Serg, who lives on the Volga. Ubatis is white, playing the English. He's his old love. Alright. Early fianchetto English. This is a pretty rare move. Pretty passive for Black, but we can do primitive Queen C8 type of ideas, maybe. I like H5 here. I've been playing a lot of Coffee House. I beat this guy. He's a grandmaster. Stanimir Nikolic. Around that time, actually. It was in the New York Open under 2400 section. I was surprised he was a GM. He was rated like 2300. I think it was that exact year. Might have even been earlier. I don't remember the game now. This is so feeble. Why play Bishop D7 if you're going to play E6? Best is probably G6 or H5. You know, I don't think this is that stupid, you know, to try to be creative. Another idea is Queen C8. White should probably play H3 in that case. I'm not saying it's correct, but if we're going to play Bishop D7, then we probably ought to play something appropriate to follow it up with. Anyways, this doesn't look right. Black would like to get in a B5 break, but it doesn't seem to work. He's trying. Oftentimes I will play A4. I don't like it, but I'll play it if I have to prevent him from playing B5. It does look like you might have D5 here. Queen D3 trying to just keep everything under control. This move. Very unusual square for that bishop. Particularly, you know, designed tactically. Clearly Black can play E5. I'm not sure if that's a good thing, though. I mean, if Black plays E5, he loosens the D5 square. Black's getting provoked. He's just playing too passive. I don't know. You probably have something more concrete at some point. Maybe D5. Maybe C5. How does this work? Of course, it's committal. Either of these moves is very committal. Peter likes D5. Rook D1. Also not a bad move. Only the number one choice. And then F5. It's the Dutch. It's a bad Dutch for Black after F5. He's got a lot of weaknesses in his pawn structure. It probably strengthens d5. There's going to be a lot more weaknesses now. It strengthens his white's position in general. I think f5 is really, really loose. c5, d5. Well, he just blunders in exchange. I mean, you can't play d5. Whatever black does here, it can't be d5. I mean, I guess you just have to play like rook c8, right? And it's not that simple. White is winning, apparently. Wow. cd6, the cdc. You're fired. What? Bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6. You've got d5. Oh my god. It's a 5-card pileup on I-95. Amazing. You're just winning there. He's just lost. In that line. So he just lost an exchange. It's over. It's over. It's a really bad Stonewall Dutch. I'm looking for sacrifices on the pawn chain here, but it doesn't seem necessary. Could be a long day with knight on e4. Stonewall Dutch isn't often, necessarily the best place to be up in exchange. It's often very blocked. Could be quite difficult to make progress. I think if I were black, I would probably devalue white's pawn structure, take my chances here. But, he's not trading queens down the exchange. Kind of principled decision. Yeah, this ends it. The pawn is the only thing that black has here. The power pawn on e4. If that's gone, then he has no compensation at all. You just send my casual blitz game with Jewel of Pop for next subscriber stream. All right, we got to start the list for next week early. I feel sorry for Jewel of Pop. He's gonna get exposed. No, he's a good kid. I haven't seen him in a long time. All right. So next week for Thursday, Mr. Slowhand is first for next week already. That's the earliest. We've had a week early. Good game from Yabatis, destroying the strong point on e4. That was a little mate threat. Now what do? Queen e7. I feel a tactic coming on, but I don't see it. Where's the tactic? I thought there would be something here. It's just not there. That's not good. It would be better to play mate in one, but our opponent, our hero here was kind of sadistic and played this instead. Sometimes I do mean stuff if my opponent won't resign, but I try to be sportsmanlike. Alright, guys. Alright, last game. Warnacki. I gotta get through Warnacki's game. Warnacki, where are you? Thank you, everybody, for taking part in our subscriber stream. International Master William Pascal will be back tomorrow morning with Blitz here, Fast Friday. And I hope everyone got something out of this. I like doing the analysis stream. I like analyzing. I don't get to do enough analysis. So my own chess, and I appreciate it. If we find the time, Wise Master, appreciate taking a look at this attempt to play mainline chess. All right, mainline chess, channeling Tom Bartel, Paoli, Pennsylvania. What do we got? Warnacki playing white. All right. Last game. confusing him with the subtle move order. Now you have nothing better than d4, of course. We're going to play Skaveningen, which I can't pronounce. And g4 is the best move. Best by test, according to many people, including me. But not everybody's cup of tea. So we have the quiet bishop e2, bishop e7, castles, and now b6. Which normally wouldn't be a bad move. We're looking over here for bishop b5 check. Probably nothing special after bd7. Even knight fd7. And black could just like go here. It's not clear. So I know this idea because I studied this Skaveningen for black. That in many cases when black plays an early b6, there's a sort of bishop f3. Oftentimes it'll be f4 followed by bishop f3. You know, I mean, this looks strange. The idea would be like bishop b7, e5. And if you take here, I'm taking this. If you're taking this, I'm taking this. You know, I'm winning material over the long haul. You know, obviously black could play like e5 in that computer line. And then this. And even though our bishop is sort of restricted on f3, black's position has some issues. d5 square. Also very difficult to shake the knight on f5, and you can never take it. You would lose all your white squares completely. So that's why b6 is technically not good. It is commonly played a little bit later, though. Like, say, castles, f4, a6. I want to say, like, maybe a4, b6, you know, starts to be playable. Bishop f3. Magnus Carlsen versus Vachier. Rook a7. Not great for black, but playable. Probably something like this. That's just one example of where b6 might work. But it's not played that early usually. The idea of playing b6 is generally okay. But I mean, it's understandable you didn't find like the computer refutation of b6 here. Black should play e5 and then just be clearly worse after knight f5. But it's not that easy. Castles, and it's still possible for black to resist. I don't like his game. You know, it's basically ruined strategically. You're not winning material by force. Okay, so you played instead b3. And I normally wouldn't ever opt for this in the Skaveningen. Primarily, the knight on c3 isn't great here. It doesn't really have anywhere to go. And we're going to play like bishop e2, and black is going to get to the c file and put pressure down here. I honestly, like, when you play the white side of mainline Sicilian, oftentimes black's getting the c file, sacking the exchange, or just having pressure on the c file. But generally, like, b3 kind of makes it worse a little bit. So most players don't opt for that. Like a4, f4, these are all kind of normal moves. I wouldn't normally play b3. Your bishop already has this style. It'll normally go to e3 in most positions. Although I understand, like in this particular example, e4 pawn is going to come under attack by bishop e7. You might think about something like, even as strange it is, even queen d3 to overprotect e4. Another good thing about bishop f3, it overprotects e4. Another option here is definitely f4 to get behind the pawn structure with bishop f3. All right, so here b3, whatever, it's just a kind of random position. Now you played it. Yeah, I don't know. If e5, it's like a field day. Pawn takes, bishop takes. We might have this. I would assume I'm just taking stuff, like taking here. Winning the exchange. Yeah. So if you play e5, he takes an f3, you have queen f3, or, that's also not clear. Like, this may not be so good for you, queen a8. But oftentimes you have the in-between move, knight e6, which might change the entire evaluation of one of these things. Like, this move might just ruin his whole position. In this case, you take on a8, and he takes on d4, and he has compensation for the exchange. But in variation B, then he's got nothing. You just, like, win. It's an important tactic to know about. The other possibility is that you just, like, quietly take back on f3, but I don't think that's anything special. Now you have nothing. Yeah, that intermezzo kamikaze knight move, knight e6, is important. So let's see what happened in the game. It was like castles, bishop e2, he played d5. It's kind of counterintuitive. He's got you sort of tied down to this. Your bishop's sort of bad, and I think if Black can maintain the status quo without getting pounded by a tactic with e5, he'd be happy. He's happy. He's very happy with the status quo here. The only thing is that tactic. The engine is suggesting knight d7, but I'm not sure how this works again. I guess you just take on f3. The rook's protected now. So there's nothing special. Yeah. So he could have just developed. Instead he played this. Yeah, this is... Well, at least you're not going to have a bad bishop, I don't think so. Here, this looks a little more aggressive to play knight e4 for Black. I like this. It's more active than the text move. The knight, you can't trap it with f3. You have a bishop on f3. What are you going to do after this? Taking is uncomfortable. Now you have to lose time again. That doesn't seem that appealing. I don't know. Knight e4 is much more active. This is kind of passive now. I feel like white has a okay French defense. I don't like the bishop here again, though. We're blocking our f-pawn. That's a problem. You might have to play something really funky. I don't know. You're going to have to defend e5 manually with rook e1, and then move the bishop. Queen e2 is possible. You have to watch for bishop a6. You might have a knight move, knight b5. I would consider it. Here. Yeah. So he should probably play a6, keep you off that. I mean, the roller that kills him is like f4, f5, but your bishop's in the way, and your rook doesn't really want to be here. It wants to be on f1. Yeah, it's a pity you don't have something better at this point. Like, if only you had like one more move, you could move your bishop back with g3, bishop g2, and then play f4 and just be good. Oh, this was fortunate, though. This creates a lot of problems. Now even just like dropping a knight on d6 is like a nuclear explosion in Black's position. I was playing video games with my son this last week, and it's like a shooter game. Someone dropped a nuke in game, and like everything's blowing up, and we're just being melted by radiation. That's Black's position now, This is totally a disaster. Even if your pawn structure, look at this, bishop on b2. It's not that messy. It's just awful for Black, There's all sorts of things. Knight here, knight here. You don't need to have an idea what you're doing. I mean, this is just too awful for Black. Knight on the 6 just wins. This is just... I don't know how you can screw this up, really. I mean, I know that any position is possible to lose. But man... You've got everything. That diagonal. Tactics with c4. The rook active here. Maybe sacrifices. Okay, if you don't find something concrete, you could go wrong. Structurally, it could fall apart. Trading pieces. Now, first off, knight b5 looks really interesting. That's what you played. I don't really want to trade pieces. Another interesting move is c4. Tearing open the game. There's some questions about stuff like knight e5 I'm a little bit worried about. But fundamentally, c4 looks like a good move. We can rip it open, take advantage of him along the c file here while he's undeveloped. I'm looking for that move to work. I just need to calculate, how it works exactly. Your move looks good too, though. Entrenching this knight on c7. Going to be very problematic. Now c4 is going to happen again. That's what you did. It's got to be right. I mean, you could try to prepare it. Now the question is, what do we do? That's the mate. That's a mate on the long diagonal on g7. If we could only get the queen on the long diagonal. The simplest move is rook c1. All pieces in game. This looks like the sickest Catalan of all time. I agree, it doesn't win itself, though. Like b5, white has to prove it. How do we get our queen, to the long diagonal to finish black off? We're real close now to putting the queen on the long diagonal. All right, so you played this, which is like an inaccuracy according to the computer. Unknown finish, white is victorious. What's that about? Yeah, I mean, the idea of playing queen d4 is prime. I thought about even taking on c6, but it's too much of a concession. If we play like this, I'm black. It's not that stupid. Maybe he plays knight f6. This is not stupid, to try to give up your white squared bishop to get the long diagonal, to play opposite colored bishop. Maybe you can just kill him on the dark squares. But it looks like black might have enough to kind of put up some resistance to hang on here. I don't know. Knight f6 or e5 even. It's not real clear. e5 kind of kills it. I mean, white is probably winning even here, but it's going to be very technical. This, I don't know about this. Again, very technical. And now I'm not sure anymore. So we have to not make too many concessions. I don't really want to give up my bishop if I don't have to. c4 just feels right, and then takes here and rook c1. What's the evaluation? b5. Yeah, maybe we just have to take. And if he takes, that's like raging rooks. Another rook is all that he needs, like in front of his king in this position. Nah. So what was the finish? He flagged. Okay. Well, I'm sure you would have won. The actual game continuation was b takes c. Yeah, but that's not the main idea. We just want to get all the pieces in the game. This is nasty. Rook c1, b5. If we have nothing better, okay, then we'll take. But I don't even know what to suggest for black here. He's getting crushed with his pass pawn. We're threatening c5, making it a protected pass pawn. There's a knight entrenched on the 7th rank. Both our bishops are raking long diagonals. Yeah. It's horrible. Very, very hard for black to survive here. Impossible with correct play. Anyway, good game. Guys, we're going to end the stream. I'm running out of energy. And I need to eat my late dinner. Bishop takes c6 and queen g4. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about earlier. That'd be my first idea. Once he takes, right? First things first, you want to look at forced variations. But he's got e5. Things could get very unclear here. We don't really want to make the concession of trading too many pieces, and opposite bishops could get kind of tricky. I like this. Just the way it is. Huge position. No, I don't think we need a second knight. You might have something fancy, but the knight is it's creating havoc where it is. You know? That's just interfering with everything in his world. And you don't really need to do anything fancy. It's slowly improving the scope of the pieces here. White should overwhelm black, you know, without necessarily needing a crazy sacrifice. I definitely don't want to give that knight up for a pawn in f7. This is not enough. Unless you can find some really, really key idea, I wouldn't even dream of trading that for anything. It's just interfering with his queen, it's interfering with his rook, it's controlling e8, it's controlling d5, e6. You don't really want to sacrifice that. It's good where it is. So, play for mate here, play for win of major material. I wouldn't just settle for a pawn. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining the stream. International Master Pascal. We're wrapping it up with the Panda. Thank you, guys. Good stream. Don't forget to be safe. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Oops, forgot my mask. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, guys. Thanks for watching. Good job. Thanks for the support. See you on Friday, 11 a.m. CEST. Bye-bye.